One text message, one weekend, $302. And you never once decided to spend that money. It just happened. Everybody's had a long week, and then Friday hits, and somebody always gets in the group chat and goes, "Hey, we should all go out. There's this new place I really want to try." Everyone goes, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great. We'll meet there." You already know in the back of your head it's going to cost you $100, but you don't care because you've had a long week and you deserve to decompress. Friday, you get to the restaurant. There's a wait, so you get a drink at the bar. That's $8 off rip. You finally sit down, you get another drink. That's 11. And at this point, you've paid $19 for a cup of ice with basically a shot and a half of liquor. Then the food comes. That's $32. You eat, now you feel bloated, your buzz is gone. And this is the part where normally you'd want to go home, put on sweatpants and watch Netflix, but you can't because somebody goes, "Hey, we should keep this going. Let's go somewhere else." So one poor guy always becomes the sacrificial lamb and orders the Uber. That's 40 bucks he'll never see again. And now you're in the car, so you're definitely not going home. Next place you show up to has a cover, $20, boom, gone. And now you really can't leave because you just paid $20 to stand in a room. You're sober again, you've started sweating, so you gotta catch back up. Another $12. Bartender hates you immediately for some reason, so he hands you a glass of ice and just gives you that look. Like, say something about your weak drink, I dare you. It's hot. You're bumping into people, and then your buddy goes, "Hey, I got the last round. You got this next one, right?" In your head, you cuss him out, and then you pull out your credit card anyways. $48, gone. 141 bucks. And all that's really happened is you got bloated in public. Then Saturday comes around. It's always somebody's birthday or an engagement, or your significant other wants to do something. And you can't skip a birthday, and you definitely can't tell your significant other no after being out with your friends the night before. That's the whole thing. It's a continuous loop of never being able to say no. So you go, $40 for dinner if you're lucky, and then it's, "Oh, we can't stop here. It's Saturday night. Come on." And you can't be the guy who leaves the birthday celebration or tells your partner you don't want to do more fun stuff on a Saturday night. So you don't. You give in. Another $49 between drinks and the ride home, $89, gone. Sunday, you think you're safe. And then your buddy from out of town you never see texts you out of the blue. "Hey man, I'm in your area today. Let's play a round of golf and get together." 40 bucks for 18 holes if you're lucky. You're out of balls, so that's going to be another $12. You want lunch at the turn, that's $20. $72, gone, just like that. And by Sunday night, you're at $302 total, all in for this weekend. And you haven't even restocked on groceries yet for the week. And we all know how much that's going to cost. And here's the thing, you didn't do anything unusual. It's not like you took some big trip or you made some massive purchase. All you did was meet the basic requirements of basically having friends. There's just always a requirement to keep spending. And if you don't, you feel like you're a bad friend, like you don't have an option, like there's basically no choice. But let's be real. Saying no to plans shouldn't be this hard, right? Look, I'm not going to tell you to stop hanging out with your friends. That's stupid and unrealistic. But I do think there's something going on underneath it. That took me way too long to see and affects mostly everyone. You're not really spending money on your friends. The friendship part is free, or at least it should be. No, you're spending money on the venue or the place where you see your friends. And the thing you're actually paying for isn't the $50 round of drinks. It's to avoid the awkward embarrassment of saying no and feeling like you look poor or you don't contribute to the friend group fairly. I think all of this boils down to two things. One, it's not cool to be frugal in the year 2026, not around your friends at least. Everybody's kind of quietly proving that they're fine or that they have money or they're doing well. They're so terrified of admitting to friends that they can't afford something. When in reality, the friend is also probably worried about being able to afford something just the same as you are. And two, honestly, you're scared that if you say no enough times, they'll stop asking, they'll stop inviting you, and that's what you're actually paying for. Not the night out, just making sure you don't turn into the guy who stops getting the text. And here's the part that actually messed me up. Say it's $600 a month, which honestly, after the weekend I just described, is probably pretty low. 10 years, market average, you put in 72,000 of your own money, you'd be sitting on about $123,000. That's substantial and a very dramatic example, but it just goes to show that you gave that up 40 bucks at a time without ever really deciding to give that money up. Now I know that estimate would be what happens if you were a hermit and you never went out, but even saying no half the time gets you roughly 61 grand with market returns. Okay, so what? Now, I don't really have a magical fix for this. I don't think anyone does, but I do have three things I try, and sometimes they do work. And honestly, if all you do is notice that this is happening, that's probably a great start, and you're leaning towards the right direction of fixing this. So for the first one, Whoever picks the plan sets the price. Because think about how it usually goes. You wait, you get invited, and then you pay whatever the event cost ends up being. You have zero say in how much money you're spending up front. So be the guy who texts first. Pick something where you know you can accurately determine the financial damage before even going to the event. That's not being cheap. That's just going first and making the plans. Second thing, change the venue from public to private, not how often you see your friends. Same people, same night, same fun time, just at a different place. Pizza at somebody's apartment, fire pit at someone's backyard. Watch the game at your place. Cook out some cheap hot dogs or burgers that you got from Aldi. Go play a cheap public golf course instead of going to the nice country club. Grab some drinks at your place for a few hours before going out instead of hopping from bar to bar to chase the same buzz. Nobody in history has ever gone, yeah, we were best friends, until he suggested drinks by the fire pit. That guy's weird. And the last point, just bail sometimes. And I know that's a scary one. So let me tell you what actually ends up happening. I've bailed on plenty of things. I just tell them, hey, I got too much going on. Hit me up the next time you go out, and I'll be there. And it has never once actually mattered. Nobody looks at you differently. And if somebody calls you a flake, just laugh it off. Oh, dude, I'm a flake. You got me. And then you show up the next time and nobody even remembers. That's it. That's the entire consequence. But for some reason in your mind, you made it so much worse. Now I want you to think about the guy that you know who goes to every single social event, never misses one. Now I'm not knocking him or making fun of him, but that's actually the guy who usually has the least money. And look, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I did this exact weekend a few weeks ago. The whole thing, the Uber, the cover, the golf. But here's the thing I keep coming back to. You're allowed to skip stuff. Not all of it. I'm not telling you to become a hermit, just some of it, here and there. And if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but if I start saying no, they'll stop asking me, sit with that for a second. Because if skipping a couple dinners is enough to get you dropped from the friend group, that was never really a friendship. That was attendance, and you were paying to feel accepted. And I'm not saying go find perfect friends who all understand this. That's not a real thing. The people who are actually your friends are always going to be there, whether it's a fancy steakhouse or it's in your driveway in a lawn chair. So I'm curious what your number is from your last weekend. Put it in the comments. I'd like to know. I'm not the only one that this happens to. Also, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the Disciplined Dollar.